For 2 years, I've been trying to win over Serafina Vance. And for my trouble, I had 16 rejections to my name. My reputation was shot. I'd gone from the untouchable campus king to a running joke, and the whole saga had nearly gotten me killed. This was it. The last time. I staged a ridiculously romantic confession, and she just looked down on me with contempt. Look at the state of you, Liam. Stop dreaming. I wouldn't say yes to you if you were the last man on earth. That night, I got blackout drunk and summoned the system. I give up. Just do it. Give me the punishment. Losing 50 years off my lifespan was better than being erased from existence entirely. But then, a new notification pinged. Host rage meter has reached maximum capacity. Target will be automatically reassigned. A second later, Serafina's roommate shyly tugged on the sleeve of my jacket. I sighed, slumping into the leather seat of my Lamborghini. My phone screen reflected my face, sharp, handsome features that, for some reason, Serafina Vance found utterly repulsive. I worked out religiously and dieted like a monk. I had the body of a runway model. My phone buzzed incessantly in my pocket. I unlocked it. LMAO, you guys see this? The simp king, Liam Blackwood, spent like 50 grand on another public proposal, and she literally slapped him with the roses. Iconic. Dude's dad is the CEO of Nexus. His mom's a real estate mogul. He could be doing anything, and he chooses to be the world's most dedicated simp. This is the 16th time. 16. That's not persistence, that's a psychological condition. Unbelievable. Someone had already posted the video to TikTok. I opened the comments. Thousands of them, all roasting me. What made my stomach clench, though, was the photo a friend texted me. It was Serafina, hand in hand with another guy, laughing as they crossed the street. I recognized him instantly, Leo Vance. Her cousin, the guy who'd practically raised her, the one she always said saved her life. 2 years ago, Leo was diagnosed with a rare, aggressive cancer. Just as everyone was preparing for the worst, I chartered a private med jet and had him flown to a specialist clinic in Switzerland. Honestly, I should have been thrilled to have my rival out of the picture. But Serafina's grief was devastating. She was a ghost, her eyes vacant. Leo, you pulled me out of that lake, she'd sobbed. You told me I had to live a good life to pay you back. You can't leave me alone now. She'd held a vigil outside his ICU for 3 days straight, looking like she was about to collapse. I was terrified she'd follow him into the grave. If she died, my mission would fail, and the system would erase me. I had to intervene. Thankfully, Serafina held on. But Leo, my rival, her one perfect, unattainable love, survived. His near-death experience only made him more sacred in her eyes, cranking the difficulty of my mission up by 99%. Instead of thanking me for saving him, she grew even colder. Saving him was your decision, she'd said, her voice like ice. If you think you can use this to pressure me, you can forget it. I never intended to use it as leverage. The system's success metric was based on her genuine affection. But how was this fair? How was I, the handsome, wealthy newcomer, supposed to compete with a bond forged in childhood trauma? Seeing that photo of them holding hands, their smiles so genuine, a storm of emotions churned inside me. I made a decision. I texted my friends, "Forget it, guys. I'm done. I'd rather die than keep chasing her." A reply came back instantly. "Sure you are. I'll believe it when I see it." Clown emoji. I found the nearest high-end cocktail bar and started drinking. The more I drank, the angrier I got, and the angrier I got, the more I drank. Through the haze, Serafina's face materialized in my mind. Her soft lips, her cool gaze, that incredible figure that could stop a man's heart. I remembered the first time I saw her. My heart had hammered against my ribs. The colder she was, the more I wanted her. I'd been so lucky the system had assigned her name to me. Or so I'd thought. Drunk and dizzy, I brought up the system's interface and unloaded every last grievance, every humiliation, every gut punch I'd endured. Finally, I threatened it. If I fail this mission, you're going down with me, right? What's it going to be? A performance demerit? A full system wipe and reinstall? Frankly, I don't care anymore. So what if you dock me 50 years? It's not like I'm short on them. Just before I face-planted onto the plush velvet couch, I heard the system's final, fateful notification. Host rage meter has reached maximum capacity. Target will be automatically reassigned. The next morning, I woke up on the cold, polished concrete floor of our six-car garage. Arthur, our longtime butler, stood over me, his expression impeccably neutral. "Young Master Liam, your father has stated that your recent behavior has brought considerable embarrassment upon the family. You are, for the time being, not permitted inside the main house." I sat up. Arthur cleared his throat. "I'm afraid that won't be possible today, sir." "Why not?" "Your father has frozen all of your supplementary credit cards. He said that if you persist in simping for Miss Vance, he will have you legally removed from the family trust." I was stunned. "What? Didn't you tell the old man I'll literally die if I don't win her over? Does he want to bury his own son?" Arthur's face remained a stiff mask. "I did, sir." His response was, and I quote, "A few days without money will knock that lovesick nonsense out of him." My head spun. Failing the mission meant losing 50 years of my life. And what was worse, I had no idea if I even had 50 years to spare. This couldn't happen. I still had so much money I hadn't spent. I frantically called up the system to figure out a plan, only to see that the target's name had changed. It now read, Hannah Reed, Seraphina's roommate. The system's robotic voice began to whisper in my mind, sounding almost sheepish. "Host, now that you're sober. Your tirade yesterday was quite severe." The rage meter overload activated the one-time-only target reassignment option. Hannah Reed is beautiful, kind-hearted, and possesses remarkable business acumen. She is destined to become a formidable leader. This is your final opportunity, host. Please proceed with caution. Failure this time will result in immediate erasure. Also, please do not file a complaint against this unit. Unbelievable. It switched my target and upgraded the penalty? Fine. As long as it wasn't Seraphina. I was finally free. Who needs to chase after her when I have a brand new target? I racked my brain, trying to remember everything I knew about Hannah. I'd definitely seen her around. She was in a few of my classes, and, of course, lived with Seraphina. At the beginning of freshman year, there was a huge debate on campus forums about who was prettier, her or Seraphina. One was the cool, aloof girl with long, dark hair. The other was the cute, sweet girl with a high ponytail. To score points with Seraphina, I paid a PR firm to scrub negative comments and boost her social media engagement, ensuring the title of Campus Queen went to her. I thought she'd be pleased. Instead, she'd publicly declared, "I have nothing to do with Liam Blackwood. This was all his doing." Hannah, on the other hand, had never seemed to care about any of it. She always had this calm expression, as if nothing in the world could truly faze her. I remembered one time I was waiting for Seraphina outside their dorm. Hannah came jogging down the stairs, her arms full of takeout containers. Inside was the gourmet meal I'd had a Michelin star chef prepare, tailored perfectly to Seraphina's tastes. I'd been annoyed, demanding to know why she had the food. Her face flushed, and she stammered, as Sarah said she wasn't coming back to the dorm tonight. She told me to throw it out, but that felt like such a waste. See, can I eat it? Or if not, I could give it to the stray cats. My mind was elsewhere, already wondering where Seraphina had run off to. I muttered something dismissive and waved her off. As I turned to leave, I vaguely remember her whispering a quiet, "Thank you." Her voice was nice, soft and melodic without being syrupy, with a strangely soothing quality. The second time was at a concert. A huge pop star, Seraphina's absolute favorite, was in town. Of course, she was reluctant to accept the front row tickets for me. She finally agreed on one condition. I had to buy tickets for her entire suite of friends. Money was never the issue. The music was deafening, the crowd a roaring sea. During a slow, romantic ballad, I subtly reached over and took Seraphina's hand. She didn't pull away. I was ecstatic. It wasn't until the song ended, just as the lights came up, that a soft voice beside me said, "Excuse me, your hand is really warm. Could you let go for a second?" My whole body went rigid. In the darkness, I had grabbed the wrong hand. That night was my 15th confession attempt. I'd even pulled strings with the artist manager to get invited on stage, planning to declare my love in front of her idol. But when the pop star called my name, Seraphina was already gone. I chased after her, and she slapped me, her voice cutting. "Stop it, Liam. Stop humiliating yourself. Even if you got on that stage, I wouldn't have said yes." She paused, sighing. "I just want to get through college and graduate. No matter what you do for me, I will never have feelings for you." We're not from the same world. It felt like a shard of ice had been driven through my chest. But I forced a smile, trying to break the tension with a stupid joke. Hey, that's okay. I can wait. My heart's a broken record, but it's still stuck on the track that's all about you. As Arthur drove me to campus, he offered some unsolicited advice. Young master, you can't force matters of the heart. Miss Vance isn't worth any more of your emotional energy, not even your anger. I grinned. Don't worry. That's all in the past. He glanced at me in the rearview mirror and sighed, clearly not believing a word. After he dropped me off, I saw them by the campus gates. Leo and Serafina talking and laughing. The moment they saw me, Leo instinctively let go of her hand. Liam, morning. Leo was shorter than me, probably not quite 6 feet. Fresh out of recovery, his face was still pale. You're all better? I asked. He nodded. Yeah, thanks to you. You saved my life. And came right back to school to steal my girl? I thought. I didn't save you. I corrected him. I just fronted the money for your medical care. Money that, by the way, needs to be paid back. Leo's face fell. Sarah, he said, turning to her, did you borrow money from him for me? Serafina frowned, ignoring him and looking at me, confused. I never brought up money. They must have assumed it was a gift. It wasn't her, Leo, I said coolly. Among the papers you signed in Switzerland was a loan agreement. Don't you read English? His face went beet red. He turned to Serafina for help. I remember the number. Converted, it's $169,000. Serafina cut straight to the point, a cold smile on her face. All right, Liam, what are your terms this time? Just spit it out. It's simple, I replied. You owe me money, you pay it back. It's the way the world works. Or are you planning on being a deadbeat, Leo? Leo trembled. No, of course not. I'll find a way to pay you back, Liam. Serafina finally lost her patience, stepping in front of a pale-faced Leo. I'll pay it for him. Just leave him alone. Fine. Venmo me 10 grand to start. I'm a little tight on cash right now. It was true. Thanks to her, my dad had cut me off. I was broke. Well, I pulled out my phone to show her my Venmo QR code. A flicker of confusion crossed her perpetually composed face. Just give me a few days, she said. I'll get it for you. TCH. I scoffed, waved a dismissive hand, and walked onto campus. I waited by the entrance of the dining hall for what felt like forever before I finally saw Hannah. She was wearing an oversized, ill-fitting coat, her eyes bright as she looked at the ground, occasionally frowning or biting her lip. She seemed to have a lot on her mind. I walked up to her, smiling. Hannah, have you had breakfast yet? She blinked, her expression dazed. What? Oh, I don't know where Sarah is. I raised an eyebrow. Was she afraid of me? I softened my expression. I'm not asking about her. I'm asking about you. Let's get some breakfast together. Can I say no? She asked, looking up at me with wide, pleading eyes. Of course. Not. I grabbed her arm and steered her towards the food court. She was so slender, I barely had to use any force. I wonder what she ate to be so thin. What do you want? I asked, gesturing at the options. I'll get in line. Oh, just a bagel and a regular coffee is fine. She replied immediately. That's it. The breakfasts I used to have sent to Serafina were things like artisanal acai bowls with pollen or lobster benedict with fresh hollandaise. At first, Serafina refused them, but eventually she succumbed to the temptation and just accepted them. Not only did she accept them, but she complained the bowl was too cold, the lobster tasted fishy. So I'd have the chef change the menu, only for her to say she liked the first option better. To this day, I still had no idea what she actually liked to eat. If I asked, she'd just say it's fine. Now, standing in line with Hannah, I pointed at the display. 2 everything bagels with cream cheese, 2 breakfast burritos, and 2 large lattes. The cafeteria worker grunted card. I pulled out my wallet, then froze. My cards were all frozen. Crap. I was about to embarrass myself in front of my new target. Ma'am, could you put on a tab? I can have someone come by this afternoon to settle up. The woman gave me a look that was a bizarre mix of pity and concern. Everyone around us fell silent, staring. The air grew thick with awkwardness. Beep. Hannah pulled a worn student ID card from her pocket and swiped it, paying for the meal. She grabbed the tray with one hand and tugged on the corner of my jacket with the other, leading me away. You have to use a meal card here, she muttered, sitting down. She seemed to want to look at my face to gauge my embarrassment, but didn't dare. I know that, of course I know that. I just haven't been here in a while. I forgot to bring it. I trailed off. She just buried her head in her food and didn't reply. Hannah's eyes crinkled when she ate, like she was truly savoring every bite. I picked up my own burrito. It was lukewarm. This is gross. It's cold. No, it's not. It's delicious, she said, taking a happy bite of hers, her eyes lighting up. My heart did a little flip. Hannah was actually kind of adorable. Suddenly, a familiar, icy voice cut through the air. Liam, what are you doing here? I looked up. Serafina and Leo were sitting at a table not far away. My eyes locked on the insulated, high-end breakfast basket on their table. The very same one I had a chef prepare, cook, and have express delivered to the school for her every morning. The one I'd already paid for. I stood up, walked over, and collected the unopened containers. This is my food, I said calmly. It seems it was delivered to the wrong place. I'm surprised you two have a nerve to eat it. Serafina's face instantly hardened. Don't be ridiculous. Leo is still recovering. He needs proper nutrition. Oh, I said, looking her in the eye. Then you can figure out how to provide that for him yourself. What are you doing eating my food? The other students in the dining hall started whispering, their gossip buzzing in the air. Did I hear that right? Was that Liam Blackwood talking? Holy crap, the simp is fighting back. Ladies, this is our chance. I would happily date Liam Blackwood, even as a rebound. Leo stood up, looking ashamed. Liam, I'm sorry. I didn't know this breakfast was from you. Leo, you don't have to apologize to him, Serafina said, standing up and shielding him. She glared at me. That's enough, Liam. Can you just stop trying to get our attention all the time? I gave her a lazy glance, not bothering to respond. Instead, I cheerfully brought the basket back to my table, opened it, and let the delicious aroma of truffle and fresh herbs fill the air. I placed it in front of Hannah, my voice softening. Here, Hannah, you try it. Hannah didn't move, her eyes wide with a mix of surprise and panic. Serafina's voice, tight with anger, called out to me again. Liam, I'm talking to you. My focus was entirely on Hannah. Go on, try it. It's still warm. Serafina stood there, watching us, looking completely bewildered. This was the first time I had ever completely ignored her, ever been indifferent to her moods and demands. It seemed to trigger something competitive in her. Liam, she said, her tone shifting, if you apologize to me right here, right now, I might consider forgiving you. Her words left me speechless. Why on earth would I need to apologize? Hannah, who had been silent, suddenly spoke up for me. Sarah, you've rejected Liam over and over again. So why do you keep accepting his gifts and giving him hope? Hannah, Serafina snapped. Don't you get it? Guys like him, these rich kids, they have no respect for anyone. Can't you see he's just using you to make me jealous? I sighed. Serafina, I'm not using Hannah. You really think too highly of yourself. And you don't have to consider forgiving me. Don't worry, I won't bother you again. Serafina's eyes started to redden. She quickly turned her head away. Fine, you said it. If you ever come looking for me again, I'll just despise you even more. With that, she grabbed Leo's arm and stormed out without a backward glance. I knew Serafina was genuinely angry, but I had a nagging feeling that deep down a small part of her actually cared. There was a time, early on, when she'd almost given in to my relentless pursuit. It was the 4th of July. I'd skipped my family's lavish party to stay on campus with her. When the fireworks exploded across the night sky, painting it in dazzling colors, her eyes were filled with pure joy. For the first time, she had grabbed my sleeve, pointing at the sky. Liam, look, it's so beautiful. The moment was perfect. I leaned in to kiss her, but she pushed me away again. I still can't be sure you're sincere. I just figured I wasn't trying hard enough, so I doubled my efforts. During a university-sponsored hiking trip on a rainy day, she slipped and was about to tumble down a muddy embankment. I lunged, wrapping my arms around her and shielding her with my body as we rolled. My vision swam with stars, pain shooting through me. I ended up with a fractured leg and spent a month in the hospital. She never once came to visit. I found out later we were in the same hospital. She was just busy taking care of Leo. A friend told me later she agreed to date Leo because he wrote her a single handwritten love letter. He'd added, seriously, man, we should enter you into a most whipped contest. You'd win, no question. 10. The last class of the day ended. I waited for Hannah outside the lecture hall. She was walking fast, head down, clutching a stack of books, and vanished around a corner before I could catch her. I remembered from the concert ticket incident that the vendor had mailed them to her home address. I'd saved it in my chat history with Serafina. I managed to scrape together $200 in cash from Arthur. As I was leaving, he slipped another 1,000 into my pocket from his briefcase. "Young master, perhaps we shouldn't see each other for a little while," he said discreetly. "Stay in the dorms for now. Once your father has cooled down, I will come and bring you home." I spent $900 on a box of Rainier cherries as a gift. If times weren't so tough, I wouldn't have shown up with something so modest. Hannah lived in an older part of the city, in a neighborhood of aging brick buildings with cracked facades. Most of the original residents had moved away long ago. I knocked gently on her door. Hannah's voice came from inside. "Coming 1 second." The door opened, and she froze. Liam, class president. Her hair, still damp, fluttered in the twilight breeze. She was holding a bunch of scallions, and the smell of fresh earth hung in the air. "Thanks for sticking up for me this morning. I brought you some fruit," I said, holding up the bag of cherries. "Can I come in?" She hesitated for a moment before letting me in. The building's exterior was run down, but her apartment was spotless and meticulously organized. "Hannah, is that a classmate?" A woman's voice called from another room. The air was thick with the smell of herbal medicine. "Yes, ma'am. It's nice to meet you." I called back. "Hello. Make yourself a home, dear." "Hannah, there are some peanuts in the cabinet. Get some for your guest." Hannah obediently retrieved a bowl of roasted peanuts from the kitchen. "Sorry," she whispered. "My mom can't really walk. It's hard for her to get around. Please sit. I'll get you some water." So that's why she was always in a hurry to get home. She had to cook for her mother. I made small talk with her mom from the living room. She was warm and friendly, but had a persistent cough. I decided to take it slow. My new strategy was to become her friend first. After Hannah served her mom dinner, she rushed to leave again. "Liam, thank you for the cherries, but I have to go." A genuine smile touched her lips, her eyes sincere. I quickly stopped her. "Where are you going? You haven't even had dinner." She patted her pocket, which was bulging with peanuts. "I have these. That's what you're having for dinner." "How could anyone survive on peanuts?" She nodded, glancing anxiously at her watch. "I really have to go, or I'll miss my bus." With that, she dashed down the hallway and out of the building. She was so busy. Would she ever have time for a relationship? 11, I was a handsome, living, breathing man standing right here, and she had zero reaction. My charm offensive had completely failed to close the distance between us. Wait a minute. Her rushing out the door like that. Could she have a boyfriend? My stomach dropped. I immediately followed her onto the bus. I was jostled by the crowd, an older woman pressing up against me, giving me an appreciative once-over that was entirely inappropriate for her age. I felt my skin crawl. Using my height to my advantage, I squeezed through the packed aisle and grabbed the handrail above Hannah. "Hannah," I said softly. She had white earbuds in, her gaze lost somewhere out the window, her expression pure and gentle. On an impulse, I reached out and tapped her shoulder. Hannah turned abruptly, our eyes meeting just as the driver slammed on the brakes, sending her stumbling right into my arms. Her scent was light and sweet, a clean fragrance that filled my senses. My voice came out a little tight. "Careful." Her face flushed crimson. "Thank you." I quickly took half a step back, giving her space. We stood in silence. She took out one earbud, questioning me with her eyes. I nodded and took it from her. The city rushed by outside the window, the setting sun bleeding into the horizon. The only sounds were the soft music from the shared earbud and the thudding of my own heart. Being handsome was my destiny. Being a gentleman was my choice. When we got off the bus, she immediately put up a wall. "I'm sorry, Liam, but I don't have time to help you find out what Sarah is up to." I stared directly into her eyes. "I'm not asking about her." "Then why are you?" Hannah started, then trailed off, the tips of her ears turning red again. My efforts were finally paying off, but I was worried about moving too fast and scaring her away, so I decided not to push it. My reputation preceded me, for better or worse. I used to be the campus simp. Now I was going for true love. 12, it was the third weekend of my campaign to win over Hannah. I've been working alongside her at a trendy bubble tea shop, where my main duty was smashing lemons for lemonade. What The pay is only $1,000. Are you kidding me? I was floored. After 2 weeks of hard labor, this was all a college student's part-time job paid. Hannah took the cash from the manager for me, tugging on my sleeve. Liam, don't be mad, she said softly. The manager even gave us a $200 bonus. I shut my mouth. We got much closer recently. A picture of me working at the shop had gone viral, sparking rumors that my family had gone bankrupt and I was destitute. Plenty of people were gloating, praising Serafina for her foresight in dodging a bullet by almost marrying into a nouveau poor family. I didn't bother correcting them. Fortunately, my good behavior and my complete radio silence with Serafina had been noted. Arthur had already submitted a request for my father's early forgiveness. Seeing my silence, Hannah smiled and brushed a snowflake from my shoulder. I put the money in your pocket. It's cold out here. You should head back to your dorm and rest. Hannah, I said, meeting her eyes. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, under the cherry blossom trees on campus. I'll be waiting for you. She snatched her hand back, her cheeks flushing. What for? I have something on my mind, I said, my voice low. Something I want to tell you. The air between us crackled with unspoken words. Blushing, she turned and boarded her bus before I could say more. Back in my dorm, I took off my coat. A thick wad of cash and a Snickers bar fell out of the pocket. I counted it. $1,500. That silly girl. She barely bought herself a decent breakfast, and yet she'd given me her entire earnings plus her bonus. Suppressing a wave of emotion, I pulled out my phone and sent a group text. Guys, it's time. 13:08 gentle evening breeze blew through the misty winter air. The campus cherry grove was blanketed in a thick layer of pristine snow, illuminated by strings of rainbow-colored lights. A path of meticulously arranged flower petals led through the trees. 999 white roses, flown in fresh that day, were arranged in a breathtaking display, accented with dozens of glowing balloons. My friends and I had spent all afternoon setting up the lavish, romantic scene. A crowd had already gathered, held back by a dozen security guards I'd hired. We were just waiting for the guest of honor. "Do good luck. We're all rooting for you," one of my friends said, slapping my back. "Got your speech memorized? Is this going to be a fairy tale moment or another chapter in the Chronicles of Clown?" We're waiting with bated breath. My heart was pounding, a nervous energy I'd never felt before surging through me. Suddenly, a woman pushed through the security line and into the clearing, her steps slowing as she took in the scene, a look of delighted surprise on her face. Oh, for crying out loud. What was Serafina doing here? "What are you doing here?" I asked, my voice sharp with irritation. Before she could answer, the crowd erupted in cheers and chants. A radiant, emotional glow lit up Serafina's delicate features. A small smile played on her lips. "Liam, I can't believe you did all this. I heard you got a job, that you were working so hard to earn money just to do something like this for me. The roses, I love them. I see your sincerity now." My eyebrow shot up. Get together. Say yes. Say yes." The crowd started clapping in rhythm, their chants growing louder. I spotted Hannah standing in the crowd, a dazed look on her face, clapping along like everyone else. That was it. I lost it. I strode into the crowd and pulled her out by the arm. "The person I'm confessing to is you. What are you doing cheering for someone else?" My words silenced the entire grove. After 3 long seconds, it was as if she finally understood. She looked up at me, completely flustered. "Hannah, I like you," I said, my voice ringing clear in the sudden quiet. "I like the light in your eyes. I like your kindness. I like everything about you." I leaned in, pausing just inches from her lips. I saw the shimmer of tears in her eyes, the blush spreading across her cheeks. She didn't pull away. She didn't refuse. Slowly, carefully, I closed the distance and kissed her. Her lips were soft and cool. In that moment, the world around us disappeared. All I wanted was to hold her tighter and tighter. She shyly tugged on my sleeve, and I knew what she meant. I took her hand, and we ran, leaving the crowd and the lights behind us, our footsteps muffled by the snow. My phone buzzed with texts. "Liam, we've still got a girl here, crying in front of the roses. What should we do? She wants us to call you, says she'll wait here all night." "Dude, answer us. It's Serafina Vance. Are you really just going to leave her?" She let me lead her, panting slightly as we ran. "Liam, I can't run anymore. We were in a dark, empty alleyway, hidden from view. Still calling me Liam? I asked, leaning in until our noses were almost touching. The kiss that followed was heated and unrestrained, our ragged breaths echoing in the quiet dark. After a while, Hannah pulled back, her eyes shining. Liam, not tonight. I have to go home. Okay, I said immediately. I'll walk you. The entire way, I couldn't stop smiling. She kept turning to look at me. What are you smiling about? I was just happy. When you go all in for someone, and they respond with the same intensity. It's the best feeling in the world. I could sense Hannah's lingering hesitation and insecurity, but I knew, with time, I could show her my heart was true. At her door, I kissed her on the cheek. Hannah, I'll pick you up tomorrow morning. A sweet smile curved her lips, her eyes reluctant to let me go. Okay, I'll be waiting. Why don't you come in for a cup of tea? We both turned. Hannah's mother was at the doorway in a wheelchair. This was the first time I'd seen her up close. She was painfully thin, her face pale beneath a winter hat. Hannah, could you give us a moment? I'd like to speak with him alone, her mother said, her smile gentle and kind. Hannah looked at me hesitantly, and I gave her a reassuring nod. Inside the small living room, it was just the two of us. Thank you, she began, for liking my Hannah. Hannah is a wonderful girl, I said, rubbing the back of my neck, feeling a pang of guilt. After all, this had started as a mission. I'm a lucky one. I know who you are, she said, struggling to stand and reach for a book on a nearby table. I quickly moved to help her. The simple act of standing left her breathless, a sheen of cold sweat on her forehead. The boy in this photo, that's you, isn't it? She asked, pulling a photograph from between the book's pages. It was a picture of my back, taken at the concert while I was frantically searching for Serafina. I nodded. Hannah was so happy that day. She came home and danced around the living room all night, listening to the music. I haven't seen her smile like that in so long, she said. Truly, thank you again. She had misunderstood our relationship back then, but I didn't correct her. My eyes fell on the countless pill bottles on her bedside table. Ma'am, are you also ill? I asked, frowning. She waved a dismissive hand, changing the subject. This might be forward of me to ask, but do you plan on marrying my Hannah one day? I didn't hesitate. Yes, I will. Fate. It really is the greatest matchmaker. This is the money I've saved for Hannah. It's only $66,000, but I hope your family won't look down on it. She also handed me a vintage pocket watch, and this was Hannah's father's. Please, take it as a gift to my future son-in-law. A dark premonition settled in my gut. It was as if she already knew she wouldn't be there to see Hannah walk down the aisle. How could she trust me so completely? Before I left, I gave Hannah a hug. She was busy in the kitchen preparing her mother's medicine, but she paused to flash me a playful, childish heart sign with her fingers. Arthur finally came to take me home. My father was in his study, smoking a large cigar. He took off his reading glasses. We'll put the past behind us. I've had my team scrub all of those negative comments about you online. He fixed me with a stern look. From now on, I expect you to act like a man. Focus on your studies and your future with the company. No more of this lovesick, life-or-death drama. It's embarrassing. Fine. No more drama. I just get married. Having officially been forgiven, my financial freedom was restored. I slept soundly in my million-dollar bed. At dawn, Arthur's calm voice woke me. Young master, Miss Vance arrived at 5 o'clock this morning. I've shown her to the downstairs parlor. Right? The text my friend sent last night. Serafina had been crying. I threw on some clothes and went downstairs. She was sitting there, staring blankly at a cup of tea on the table. You need something? She forced a smile. You and Hannah are together now. I nodded. Yeah, is that all? I had hoped she was here to pay me back. As if on cue, she pulled a thick stack of new bills from her purse. 100,000. I told you I'd get it for you. I took it. Serafina wasn't short on cash. The jewelry I'd bought her over the past 2 years was worth close to $1 million. There's something else, she said, a complicated emotion flickering in her eyes. Leo proposed to me. Oh, I pulled out $500 bills from the stack she'd given me and handed them to her. A wedding gift. Hope you two have a happy life together. Liam, her composure finally cracked. What about all those things you said to me before? Did they mean nothing? Which things? I made so many promises. uttered so many declarations. I had a binder full of them, but I'd learned when I was with Hannah that none of those fancy words mattered. When someone truly values you, it's all in their actions. She was silent for a moment, as if making a decision. Just say the word, Liam. Just say it one more time, and I'll turn him down. You won. You used Hannah to get to me, and it worked. I've been miserable without you. She stepped closer, tilting her head up. She cupped my face in her hands, her eyes soft and pleading. Let's not torture each other anymore, okay? I'm so tired. Just hold me. I pushed her away, glanced at my watch, and turned to Arthur. Is the car ready? I have to go pick up Hannah. In the car, the driver went slowly. Sir, should I turn back and get Miss Vance? No, I said. From now on, you don't need to consider her at all. To the outside world, I had chased Serafina for 2 years with a passion that was both epic and heartbreaking. Why would I give up so suddenly? Probably because every time I got close, Leo would reappear. I was never her first choice, never the one she would choose without hesitation. She had gotten used to it. The more I groveled, the crueler her words became, the more she took my devotion for granted. The car pulled up outside Hannah's building, and the driver opened her door. Hannah, good morning. She got in the car, looking unusually tense. Liam, what's wrong? She looked at me with a seriousness I'd never seen before. Serafina called me. She said she spent last night at your house. Liam, I know you were just using me as a pawn to win your bet. I'm not going to yell at you, because the time we spent together, I was genuinely happy. But from now on, let's not see each other again. She turned away, fumbling for the door handle. I grabbed her arm and pulled the pocket watch from my pocket. Your mother gave this to me. She accepted me. Are you really going to push me away now? Her eyes instantly filled with tears. Hannah, I'm serious. I can swear on it, post it on Instagram, whatever you want. I gently pulled her into my arms, her warmth a welcome comfort. We're together now. I won't let you be alone again. Hannah wrapped her arms around my waist, her hot tears soaking into the collar of my shirt. I remembered what Arthur had told me. Hannah's father had died when she was young, but her family had been well off. Then, her mother was diagnosed with a terminal illness. Her mother had wanted to end her own life, to leave her remaining assets to Hannah, ensuring she'd have a comfortable future. When Hannah found out, she threatened to do the same, forcing her mother to continue the long, arduous treatment, despite the low probability of success and the rapidly dwindling funds. She had been working multiple jobs while simultaneously sending her mother's medical records to specialists all over the world, only to receive rejections. No wonder she always looked so tired, so busy. But now she had me. 2 months later, at our graduation gala, Leo handed me a check for the remaining balance of the $169,000. He stood before me, his arm wrapped possessively around Serafina's waist, the meekness he once showed me completely gone. Sarah and I, our love story started in middle school and lasted all the way through college. We've had our fair share of obstacles, but we've finally made it, he boasted to the group around us. You all better be at our wedding. Everyone offered their congratulations, though I caught a few of them glancing nervously in my direction. I stood at the edge of the circle, a faint smile on my face. While Leo was holding court, Serafina walked over to me. She clinked her champagne flute against mine. Long time no see. That's a boring opener. Not like you, I noted. She leaned in closer, her voice a low whisper. It's been 2 months, Liam. Aren't you tired of this game yet? I knew exactly what she was thinking. Sorry, we're actually getting married. She froze, the hand holding her glass trembling slightly. She took a deep breath, forcing a smile. Stop joking, Liam. This was all just to punish me for not choosing you sooner, right? Isn't it time for you to come back and make things right? She was smiling, but her tone was pleading. Before I could answer, a grim-faced Leo was standing in front of me. Serafina, losing her composure, asked me again, her voice rising. Liam, are you really going to marry Hannah? Are you telling me everything you ever said to me was a lie? I don't believe it. I don't believe this is how we end. You swore before God. She stared at me, her bright eyes welling up with tears as the entire room turned to watch us. It was over a long time ago. My words were cut short as Leo's fist connected with my jaw. Before I could recover, he kicked out, aiming for my groin. I twisted away just in time, the blow landing hard on my thigh. You arrogant piece of trash, Liam. What makes you so special? Who do you think you are? Leo snarled, his eyes filled with a vicious hatred. Rage exploded in my chest, and I lunged at him. But he was prepared. He grabbed a decorative baseball bat from a nearby display and swung it hard at my head. I tried to dodge, but he brought it down across my back. A blinding pain shot through me, and I crumpled to the floor. The room descended into chaos, but no one dared to intervene with the frenzied Leo. Serafina was screaming at him to stop. He smirked, cracking his neck. Everyone get back. He had this coming. Sarah didn't want you then, and she doesn't want you now. She's mine. He raised the bat again, taking aim at my head. He was insane, utterly insane. In a split second before the bat came down, a figure darted in front of me, shielding me with her body. Hannah! I heard her cry out in pain. In that instant, my own injuries were forgotten. I scrambled to my feet, fueled by a primal fury, and tackled Leo. I lost all reason, my fists flying, hitting him again and again with brutal force. It wasn't until several people pulled me off him that I came back to my senses. I scooped Hannah into my arms and rushed to the hospital. Thankfully, she only had minor injuries. In that last moment, Serafina had grabbed Leo's arm, lessening the force of the blow. Even so, I hired the best lawyer I could find. In the interrogation room, Leo grinned at me through split lips. I should have just died. Then I would have always been number one in her heart. But you had to play the hero, save my life, and then try to steal my girl? Screw you. She's my woman. Only mine. His expression darkened. Sarah loves me. How could she not love me? She sold everything she owned to raise that $169,000 to pay you back. But then she told me once the debt was paid, we were over. How can you put a price on years of history? She was about to say yes to my proposal, I know it. You were still messing with her head, weren't you? You saved me, used me to make her feel guilty, and then planned to swoop in and take her for yourself, right? I left him there, lost in his own paranoid monologue. Serafina was sitting on a bench outside, her face etched with sorrow. This is all my fault, she whispered. You should go. Yeah, I said, glancing at her one last time. She might have had her reasons, but I no longer had any interest in hearing them. Liam, she called out just as I was about to walk away. Back then, for what it's worth, I think I liked you too. Her voice was so quiet it was almost unreal, as fleeting and uncertain as her feelings for me had always been. Hannah was asleep beside me, tear tracks still visible on her cheeks. I gently pulled the blanket over her and checked the flight's arrival time. We'd gotten word yesterday that the experimental treatment her mother was undergoing abroad wasn't working. In fact, she was having a severe adverse reaction. The doctors said it seemed as though she had given up hope. The atmosphere on the private jet was heavy. I looked down at the diamond ring on my finger and squeezed her hand. Hannah, stay strong. Well, almost there. Her face was partially hidden by her long, wavy hair, but I could see the elegant line of her jaw. Liam, she whispered, I'm so scared Mom is going to become a star in the sky. Fresh, silent tears rolled down her cheeks. She won't, I said firmly. Isn't there anything in the world that can cure her? If there was, I'd give my own life. I quickly covered her mouth. Don't say that, baby. Don't ever say that. We rushed straight to the hospital from the airport. At the door to her mother's room, Hannah's grip on my hand tightened. We pushed the door open to find her mother standing there, looking energetic and smiling as she waved at us. Hannah gasped, covering her mouth. She ran and threw her arms around her mother. Is this a dream? Is this real? She sobbed like a child, a torrent of relief and disbelief pouring out of her. The doctors standing nearby exchanged looks of sheer astonishment. A cool, robotic voice echoed only in my mind. Mission: win the heart of Hannah Reed complete. Her host selection, the reward one-time life reversal opportunity, has been forfeited and converted. Reward has been reassigned to restore designated individual to full health. Reward distribution complete. Delinking from host. We wish you a happy life. 3, 2, 1. Sunlight streamed through the window, bathing Hannah and her mother in a golden glow as they held each other, unwilling to let go. Hannah was laughing through her tears, her face alight with a joy so pure it was dazzling. I quietly held up my hand and made a heart sign for her. She caught the gesture and, without breaking the hug, said, Honey, you get over here too? On my way,